Good morning. Today we will discuss concept related to scientific research. A person while making use of scientific method should make use of number of concepts associated with the process and product of the scientific approach. These may named as scientific facts, concept, paradigms, models, variables, postulates, construct, axioms, laws, theory, etc. Let us discuss each of them one by one. First of all, we discuss about scientific facts. The facts derived from the authentic and reliable sources using scientific method. That means the very naming of facts as scientific facts is quite indicative that scientific facts are somewhat different from simple facts. Really, it is their derived facts aim at adding to our knowledge or solving our felt problems through our efforts or research study can be termed scientific facts. Only when these are derived from authentic and reliable sources and have also been arrived at through the use of scientific method or logical and systematic research procedure. A research worker should therefore essentially care for the authenticity and reliability. Okay, which means authenticity and reliability of the data sources as well as method of collecting, organizing, analyzing of data and drawing conclusions for arriving at the scientific facts. However, with such assertion, it should not be assumed that scientific facts stand for 100% purity or exactness, like 2 and 2, 4. In terms of their truth value, the truth of scientific fact is always dynamic, tentative and provisional instead of being static and permanent. What is known to be true today can be declared as partially true or untrue on the basis of findings and research conducted further in the field and in this way. Okay, scientific facts are always open to be replaced by the newly discovered facts based on the ongoing research findings or discoveries. For example, once it was believed that the earth was round like a ball, but later it was proved that it is flattened at the poles. Similarly, the notion of providing punishment based on providing unpleasant experiences for bad habits now when replaced by asking to neglect the undesirable behavior for not providing any reinforcement to it for its reputations. Next one is concept. Concept, generalized meaning of the things, person or events and experienced. We can define concept as generalized ideas or generally accepted abstractions, that means characterized with naming and associated features framed about the objective, person or events through our observations, experiences and reflective thinking. It is needless to say that the concept of varying nature are very much essential for carrying on thinking process and communications in our efforts to discover facts, knowledge or solution to our felt problems in any research study undertaken by us. Next one is construct. An idea, image or some hypothetical structure resulting from one's mental synthesis. That means the define the term construct as something constructed specially by mental synthesis. Mental synthesis as the concept of physical object out of sense data. So when we have of some particular physical object, we have thus constructed the mental image of many physical object and give them different names for our understanding. Construct are thus the essential tool in our hand for carrying or reflective or scientific thinking. Here it will be pertinent to examine the distinction between the term concept and construct. A construct definitely stands for the image, idea or some hypothetical structure directed by researcher or research scholar for helping in his research work, developing his theoretical notions and explaining the principle or theory arrived at through his effort. What is the purpose of construct? It is usually made of combination of related concept. Let us take the construct intelligence for illustration. Okay, it is made of combination of so many concepts or factors such as verbal ability, numerical ability, perceptual ability, memorization ability, reasoning के अंदर आएगा deductive and inductive reasoning, reasoning ability, spatial ability, word fluency ability and problem solving ability, so on. As visualized by the famous psychologist Thurston in his group theory of intelligence, in this way, where concepts are generalization reached and meaning attached to our observation and experiences, construct stand for the hypothetical or imaginary structure constructed out of a combination of a number of related concepts for building and explaining tested and verified theoretical notions about a phenomenon or process. One has to be a little cautioned while constructing or making use of hypothetical construct. In the study of behavioral sciences, one has to keep in mind that the construct in use is quite hypothetical. Okay, construct although it may be very much essential for understanding of a phenomenon or a development of the desired theory or application mechanism. Its presence is beyond our sensory perception. We may make use of term intelligence as a hypothetical construct and may also measure in its terms of another hypothetical construct, IQ. But it should be clearly seen that intelligence in itself cannot be observed or measured. For only behavior that results from one's intelligence is observable or measurable to some extent. Similarly, in the case of an individual through a motivation meter, the level of self-esteem cannot also be assessed as low or high through a barometer of self-esteem. How can we know about the presence or use these constructs are nothing but a type of supposition or hypothetical creation on our part to understand the mechanism and role played by them in our theoretical understanding of one or other existence as some hypothetical construct in the formation as well as understanding and application of the theories in behavioral science. The next point is variables. What is variables? A concept or construct processing certain attributes liable to vary in terms of their quantitative or qualitative value from situation to situation. According to Garrett, the terms variable refers to attributes or qualities which exhibit differences in magnitude and which vary along some dimensions. Next definition, according to Patin, a variable is a trait or characteristics with two or more categories, participant varying in terms of the category to which they belong. The definition given above reveal the following things about the meaning and features of term variable. A variable is a concept or construct characterized with some attributes or characteristics. It is liable to vary in terms of its quantitative or qualitative value from situation to situation. It may be found to possesses two or more category for identifying itself. Let us try to make the concept of variable clear through research example having two variables. A sample of registered voter was surveyed. Each voter was asked to name his or her gender, male or female, and then name the party for which he or she planned to vote, CPI, BJP or Congress. The purpose was to explore gender differences in voting preference. We may see that the two variables in this example are gender with two categories and the preferred party with three categories. Three possible parties, CPI, BJP and Congress. However, here one should be careful not to confuse a variable with its category. For instance, male is one of the two category of the variable called gender. Male is not a variable. He is how to visualize it. One variable, gender, two categories, male and female. Okay. Then types of variables. Continuous variable and discrete variable. Second one is nominal variable and quantitative variable. Next one is independent variable, dependent variable and intervening variable. Next one is conceptual variable and measured variable. Let us discuss one by one. First of all, we have to discuss continuous variables. It is able to maintain its continuity by forming a continuous series. A series is said to be continuous when it is capable of any degree of subdivision and in practice shows no real gaps. Therefore, a variable is said to be continuous when it passes from one value to next by identifying small changes. Example, height, weight, length, temperature, time and so on are the examples of such variables. In this way, the criterion of identification of a continuous variable lies in the answer to the question. So, continuous variable is continuous variables capable of forming a continuous series with no real gaps and having possibility of being measured in the smallest degree of measurement. Smallest degree of measurement, time, how much, weight, smallest degree, weight, kilogram, grams, milligrams. Okay. Next one is discrete variable. Discrete variable also terms discontinuous variable. It is incapable to maintain its continuity and is thus responsible for giving birth to a discontinuous or discrete series. A series is said to be discontinuous or discrete when it exhibits real gaps. A variable is said to be discontinuous or discrete when there are real gaps. Okay. Some examples are the number of eggs laid by hen, the number of children in the family, the number of books in a library, the number of words spelled correctly, the number of cycle passing a crossing during certain period of time, and so on. The data collected in the form of categories involving taxonomy, male or female, or multiple categories, high, above, average, below average, and low income groups also provide living examples of discrete or discontinuous variables. Discrete variables means variable incapable of forming a continuous series and expressible only in whole unit or numbers. Next one is nominal variable. It is used to name or identify a particular characteristics. For instance, sex is a nominal variable that identifies whether a person is male or female, and religion is a nominal variable that identifies whether a person is Catholic, Jain, Buddhistic, etc. Some other religion. Okay. Next, quantitative variable. It uses number to indicate the extent of which a person possesses a characteristics or interest. Quantitative variables indicate such thing as how attractive a person is, how quickly she or he can complete a task, or how many siblings she or he has. For instance, on a rating of perceived attractiveness, the number 10 might indicate greater attractiveness than the number 5. In a research process where a researcher needs to study cause and effect or simple relationship between variables, the variables are classified as either independent variable or dependent variable. In a such study, the independent variable is responsible to bring changes in the dependent variable. Consequently, when an independent variable, say x, brings some changes in the dependent variable, say y, the researcher may conclude that a change in x causes a change in y. Okay. Independent variable, the variable known for its independent existence in a research study. It has a distinguishing feature of being manipulated to create consequential changes in the dependent variable. Example of independent variables are particular teaching method, a type of teaching material, a reward, a period of exposure to particular condition, or an attribute such as sex or level of intelligence. Next one is dependent variable. It is, on the other hand, it is the circumstances or characteristics that change, disappear or appear when the researcher implements implements, introduce, remove or changes the independent variables. Examples of dependent variables are test score, the number of errors or measured speed in performing task. So we can define dependent variable, a variable known for its dependable existence on the independent variable of the study. It is a study for the changes introduced in it through the manipulation of the independent variable of the study. Next one is intervening variable. Intervening variables are the variable that interferes with the task of studying independent impact of the independent variable in a research study over the dependent variables. For example, when a researcher wants to study the effect of particular teaching methods on the performance, academic achievement of the students in a particular subject, then that particular methods may be taken as independent variable. Variables the effect of which he wants to know the performance, academic achievement. Academic achievement is dependent variable of the student in particular subject. The nomenclature related to dependent and independent variables is therefore quite meaningful in the sense that where the independent variable teaching method and its independent existence, the existence and output of the dependent variable, academic achievement is dependent variable, okay, depends on the functioning of the independent variable. For investigation, the impact of teaching method over the performance of the students, the independent variable must not be affected by the other variables in order to be truly independent. However, the intervening variables like IQ of the subject, the socio-economic status of the students, the parental education, the teaching effectiveness, etc. can be affect seemingly independent variable. Thus, in research studies, such intervening variable need to control or nullified for studying the direct relationship between independent and dependent variable. Okay. Next one is conceptual variable and measured variable. Conceptual variable which has originated from a definite concept. Concepts as we usually understand them are the generalized view and notion about a thing. Our generalized views is our concept or phenomena. In this sense, when stated in abstract manner, the ideas that form the basis of a research hypothesis are known as conceptual variable. As example of conceptual variable, we may cite the name of honesty, depression, aggression, inflation, etc. Next one is measured variable. The variable that can be subjected to a process or quantification and measurement may be termed measured variables. In carrying out research, the researcher usually try to apply the process of measurement for converting the conceptual variables of their study into the measured variables by assigning them different numerical values. That is why the measured variables are frequently referred to as measure of the conceptual variables. The conceptual variable weight thus may be properly converted into measured variable weight in kilogram, or pounds. We can similarly plan to convert the conceptual variable honesty into a measured variables. It can be rated measured through providing testing situation involving honesty or measured usually psychological indicators. During our next discussion, we will cover the following concept of scientific research: assumption, postulate, axiom, proposition, hypothesis, models, paradigms, laws and theories. Thank you.